Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Es fácil encontrar pisos en línea, pero imaginar esos pisos en su piso un poco más complicado. De manera que LL Flooring creó Picture It, una herramienta en línea que agrega nuestros pisos a una foto de su espacio. No tiene más que apuntar, disparar y elegir un piso. Pruebe Picture It para encontrar su piso hoy mismo, exclusivamente en llflooring.com. Sobre estos pisos se construyen hogares. LL Flooring. Visite llflooring.com hoy mismo para obtener muestras gratuitas de sus pisos favoritos.
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Welcome to Beer Nuts, a weekly excursion into the world of craft beer, brought to you by MichiganBeerGuide.com. And now, here are the Beer Nuts.
Welcome to Beer Nuts, episode one more than the last one. We think it's 158. We're not sure. It's been a few weeks. Apologize for the respite here, but that work thing gets in the way sometimes, and we're here. We're back. And so JR here, glad to be back after my appendix out a few weeks ago, and then we did the Imperial Stout episode. But tonight we're just going to do a real simple mix nuts. It's a format that we've had several times before. And just kind of once in a while we just want to have a show where we just pick whatever the hell we want, because it's our show and we'll do what we want. And oftentimes we'll come up with some of our better beers when we do this format. So I'm real excited about that, and excited to welcome 4 other beer nuts to the show. So we're going to introduce each other. JR here, and I'm in Vail, Arizona, just outside of Tucson. And my last Untapped check-in was Juice Invader, a nice New England IPA from Great Notion Brewing up in Portland, Oregon, where I visited last week. And it's a fantastic beer, and I have another Great Notion I'll be reviewing shortly. So we're going to pass it over back to the East Coast, and really happy to have Ross back from Durham, North Carolina. Hasn't been on in a while, but welcome back, Ross.
Hey, thanks. Great to be back. I'll back up one and go with Gates of Smordor from Westbrook. It was a desserty Imperial Stout, pastry stout. Was really good. As my last Untapped check-in. So.
All righty, and move on further east to Michigan to John Golden. Welcome back, John.
Thank you. So I'm in Royal Oak, the purveyor of the Golden Bozo Brewery, and my last Untapped check-in was the Steel Toe Moccasin from North Pier Brewing Company. It was a triple IPA clocking in at 10.8%. It was a really good beer made with double dry hopped with Mosaic, Cashmere, Amarillo, and Crystal. Had a very nice bitter flavor to it, where most triples kind of just start going more towards the malt, but this had a really nice bitter thing to it. Loved it. I recommend it. They're out of Benton Harbor, Michigan, so a local Michigan brewery.
All right. And on over to Dearborn for Schmitty.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. So, Greg in Dearborn, Michigan, and my last Untapped check-in was from Urban Artifact Brewery. It was their Cherries Jubilee, fruited ale with Balaton cherries, vanilla beans, cinnamon, and lactose. Man, it was just like drinking a cherry pie. It was so damn good. So, highly recommend it.
Sounds tasty.
Mm-hmm.
And to complete our coast-to-coast lineup tonight, we welcome back Steve V. from Los Angeles.
Hello, everybody. Good to be back. My last Untapped check-in was 93 Octane American IPA from Gasoline Dean's Brewery. Got to enjoy that out in Colorado, and it was very good. Very nice draft, nice and smooth. Good taste on the tongue.
All right. Well, it's glad to see we got a coast-to-coast show tonight, and I'm sure our beers will be coast-to-coast. I got one from Oregon. And but we're going to first welcome everybody, all our listeners, to, as we always do. Please join us. Pop open a cold one or a room temperature cellar one if you so choose. We're not a bunch of pretentious beer snobs. We're just looking to introduce more good people to more good beer. That's the mantra of the show. And everybody's thirsty as can be. We're all parched, so let's get right into the show. And we're going to start. We're moving east to west, so we'll start in North Carolina. So off to Durham to Ross for our first beer of the show.
Okay, so what I've got here is a can of Brewer's Breakfast from Hopfly Brewing in Rocky Mount. They've come up in the last couple of years. They're mainly most of their catalog is more IPA based. They haven't done too many stouts. This probably maybe the third stout I've had from them total. All the rest have been various IPA things. A couple saisons in there, Berliner Weiss. But I have managed to. I really like this stout from when they released it. I've been very surprised to keep finding it like in coolers and on shelves when I go to various places, and I'm always the one that'll buy the can out of the cooler rather than something on draft when I see this, depending on what else is available. So Hopfly has really come up in the last, I guess, couple years. I don't know that they're more than 3 or 4 years old. And my friend Carrie swears by all their other products. But as we know, I'm more particular for stouts. So before they made this, I didn't have too much experience with their stuff other than tasting it every now and then. But this was really good. So as a background on the beer, it is definitely a pastry stout. The flavor text for it is Brewer's Breakfast is a tribute to the brewers who have started their mornings with a delicious Pearson's nut roll and coffee while brewing. An imperial stout packed with peanut butter, coffee, and caramel. This is for the brewer and all of us. Here's to you. So it is officially labeled a peanut butter caramel coffee imperial stout. We'll give it it's based on I don't know if everybody knows what a Pearson salted nut roll is, but it's basically a caramel nougat wrap or rolled in peanut butter. Rolled in peanuts on the outside. It's a kind of candy bar if you've ever had it, and that's kind of the base flavor they were shooting for when they made this. So, as we pour it out, it is opaque, black, nice smell. We get all the smells. So coffee more than other things on the smell, but there's definitely the caramel hint is there, and you get a little bit of the peanut butter there. So, and on the taste, this thing is just smooth. It is, the mouthfeel is just smooth. And on the taste, again, you get more coffee forward, but all the other tastes start coming through. It's peanut butter and caramel. No bitterness to this. It's just a nice smooth, chocolatey coffee drink. The head dissipates pretty quickly, but it's got a nice, almost chewy feel to it. It's that thick. It's only 9.5%, but it really hits the spot. Like I said, I've been choosing this over stuff on tap in some of the places I've been, especially when I go out for trivia and stuff, and I don't regret it. And I've been telling other people all about it because I really do like this beer. The chocolatey taste lingers a little bit. It's definitely still there. The coffee lingers a little bit, and it's just got that really good smell, and the taste just follows the smell exactly the way I described it. What you smell is what you get. it's really good. And I thank my friend Carrie for making sure that I try Hopfly products as they come out, because this was definitely one not to miss.
I have a question for you, Ross. As well known that I'm not a big fan of peanut butter beers, but a lot of people are. Part of the reason I usually shy away from peanut butter beers is sometimes they have that oily, slick feeling from the peanut butter. Can you tell us, like, how much influence does the peanut butter have, and do you have any detection of that? Or is this maybe something that the peanut butter is not a real overpowering, and maybe it's still something I would enjoy?
I said, it's not, the peanut butter is not overpowering. The coffee is first, and then the chocolate, and then the peanut butter after that. So it's not, you know what I mean? There's things that when they're coconut, I think even a little bit of coconut is too much coconut. You probably feel the same way about peanut butter, and I don't think this is on that scale at all. I think the peanut butter is there, you can taste it, but I'm not getting any. There's no overpowering peanut taste here. It's there, but it's in a good way. It's in a blend behind the coffee and the chocolate.
Gotcha. That's a good analogy with the coconut, because I like tons of coconut, and not everyone likes that either. It's just a palate thing, but good to know that it's a supporting flavor in the background and not overpowering. So perhaps I'll try it someday. Sounds delicious other than that.
I've got a few tucked away.
All right. Well, we'll have to talk after the show. Been a while since we swapped some beers. It's a little harder when I'm this far away now, but we'll still make it happen.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for that review. Sounds a great beer to lead it off with. So now we're going to head up to Royal Oak. John Golden, you're on the clock.
All right. Well, I had actually a couple beers here I was going to choose from. They're both Evil Twin. One was the Even More Pecan Pie Jesus, but I decided, much in the same way that Ricky Bobby decided, that I'm going to go with the Even More 8-pound, 6-ounce newborn infant Jesus, because he prefers to think of Jesus as a baby, versus Cal Naughton Jr., who likes to think of Jesus as doing interpretive eye stances of his life. So I'm going with the infant baby Jesus, newborn 8-pound, 6-ounce. It's like I said, made by Evil Twin. It is a milk stout, and it's actually it's a 5%, so it's kind of low on that, which is kind of a change from a lot of the beers I've been reviewing and drinking lately. Which, if some of our past episodes, I've been, I don't want to say I've been stuck with, but I've been doing a lot of 13-14% beers. So this is like just taking it easy for a change. The description that they're giving this says it's roasty, dark, malty, smoky, and coffee. So I'm going to either confirm or not that right now. So let's try this. All right. Well, this is definitely roasty. There's a little bit of smokiness to it. It's not very sweet for a milk stout. It's drinking more like a regular stout, which I'm a little surprised, because usually the Evil Twin is pretty spot on their descriptions. But I'm not really getting the sweetness out of this. It's coffee. It's definitely got a nice roast to it. Kind of a dry roast. A little bit nuttiness to it, maybe. Not a bad beer. I don't think if you just gave this to me and didn't tell me it was a milk stout, I would never guess that. I would just think this was just pretty much a normal, dry Irish stout sort of thing. So not, I guess to be a BJCP judge, I'd be going, you didn't hit the mark, but it's nonetheless, it's a good beer. Just not like I said, I'm not getting the sweetness. I'm not getting the lactose that I would expect. Like I said, it does have a little bit of that smokiness and, definitely coffee. Not a ton of chocolate, although it's a little bit there kind of in the background. But a good beer. So I don't know. Maybe I should have tried the pecan one.
Well,
Or you will eventually. Right?
I was going to say, the show's not over.
Before I go to bed.
The show's not over. If that was underwhelming, maybe we'll get you on round 2 here. But before we move on, I think you had a little bit of local news there out of Detroit. Founders Tap Room's back up and running.
Yeah, actually, a couple things, and kind of, I guess minor news, but one is that, yes, the Founders Detroit Tap Room is back open. I know we talked about our last episode that it was about to open again, and that has actually come to fruition. And on a kind of a counter sort of sad note, also the Lake Charlevoix Brewing Company in Charlevoix, Michigan has closed. There's potential that they may be reopening. I heard it was a bit of a thing with their lease because they were leasing from the city of Charlevoix. And if you're familiar with Charlevoix, it's definitely not a low rent district. And they were right kind of a prime spot downtown. So hopefully they find a spot that is a little bit more conducive for them to be able to actually run their business and make enough money to stay open, because they did make some really good beers. They had a Girl Cookie Stout that was fantastic. They had another beer which was called the Shot to the Dome, which was aged in an old diving bell in wooden barrels, actually in Lake Charlevoix. So unfortunately they're closed, but here's to hoping they find a new spot and reopen.
Amen. Well, we may or may not have talked about this on a previous show, but Black Lotus in Clawson, right down the road from Dugout, also has closed, and I think auctioned off a lot of their brewing equipment. So that was kind of a blow, but I think it was a similar thing where the real estate was just too expensive. It's a shame when sometimes breweries are there for a while and the landlords up the rent and they can't afford to stay in business, but
yeah, Black Lotus did have that. They won. I think it was in the Great American Beer Festival. They won with a Ninja Pirate barley wine. It was a fantastic beer.
Yep.
But I think they were on the most high-profile corner in downtown Clawson and just couldn't maintain that high rent spot with what they were doing.
Well, it's a sign of the times. Breweries, new ones are opening every day, and unfortunately, some old ones are closing, and it's just part of the cycle.
ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth, and as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast, and check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth, and as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast, and check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth, and as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast, and check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
All right. Let's move to Dearborn and over to Greg.
All right. So I will be honest here. I was initially going to review Southern Tier Nitro Hot Cocoa, but while waiting for for Russ and John Golden to finish their beers, I finished mine. So it was delicious. It's just like drinking a hot cocoa. I highly suggest it. So instead, I am going to go with from Witch's Hat Brewing Company. This is their Vanilla Bean Night Fury, which is an imperial stout brewed with molasses, lactose, and aged in freshly dumped bourbon barrels with whole Madagascar vanilla beans. And this was canned December 23rd of last year. And this comes in a 12-ounce can. I picked it up at Holiday Market in Royal Oak not too long ago. I think it was $8 or $9 a can. And it comes in at a whopping 13.5% ABV. So, first impressions, pours jet black, maybe a little brownish hue to it, khaki colored head, tight bubbles. They're certainly not lasting long as expected. So looks absolutely gorgeous here. First impressions on the smell. Ooh, a little mix of that dark and milk chocolate maybe, or maybe that's a vanilla coming through. But the vanilla is very forward. Bourbon barrels are very hot. Definitely getting a lot of the bourbon off of this. There's almost like the first impression is maybe like a maple syrup sweetness to it, but obviously that's not in here. But it's absolutely gorgeous. Can't wait to try it. So first sip. Cheers, gentlemen. Ooh, okay. So more of that milk chocolate, dark chocolate type vanilla. Ooh, very sweet, right in the middle of the mouth there. Bourbon it's very nice, very warming. Gorgeous beer. Coats the mouth really, really well. I've had their regular Night Fury, and it's more of a roastier stout from what I remember compared to this. This adds a nice sweetness to it. Definitely compared to the Nitro Hot Cocoa that I just had, which is supposedly at 10% and drank like a 5%. This definitely, you can tell the 13.5% in the glass there. It is going to be a nice warming beer here to end my evening with. But yeah, definitely check it out. Delicious beer. I remember I was at Royal Oak Holiday Market not too long ago, and there were still more cans on the shelf. I don't know if that's still true to this day, but at least as we're taping this episode, but it definitely was hanging on there, and it's good to see that Witch's Hat is distributing some of their stuff, or quite a bit of their stuff, and especially even more so for this Vanilla Bean Night Fury. Well done.
Well, Greg, I have a couple comments on that. Number one, whenever they had the big releases out at Witch's Hat, I have a friend that lives out near the brewery and always would grab me some of that Vanilla Night Fury. I've tried every beer that they have made. What's the big day that they have when they release all the Night Furies? I think it was. Don't they do it on St. Patrick's Day every year?
That could be, yeah.
I think they do it twice a year. But anyway, I've tried all those beers, and the Vanilla Night Fury was by far my favorite. Now, I am a big vanilla fan, but my friend
this definitely is not shy in the vanilla. That is
my friend that lives out there knows that I love that. There's two beers that they make that I really, really enjoy, and the Vanilla Night Fury is my favorite, and then the other one is Wellwater, their barley wine.
Yep.
And the other comment I wanted to make is I can't believe you can get that in a store now. I mean, that was always like a really rare, hard to get. You know, you had to be at the brewery on release day, and so I'm happy and sad at the same time. Happy that more people have access to it because it's a fantastic beer, but sad that right after I move away, now you can get this a lot easier. But that being said, hey, like I said, the mantra of the show is more people, more good beer. Well, that's a great beer. So anybody listening, if you can run over to Holiday Market, one of the greatest, probably the best store in the Detroit metro area for craft beer, that's where you want to go, and that's the beer you want. And Ross, if I haven't sent you one of these already, I know I have a few in my cellar. So if one of these guys can't hook you up, maybe Greg can send you one
I may have a second can in my cellar, so there may be a good chance Ross can get one. Sure.
But Ross, this is this is one I know you would enjoy. It's my favorite beer from Witch's Hat. Really, really glad that you got that you drank that other one first and got to do this one on the show.
Man, I was so thirsty. That's for sure.
Honestly, as soon as I heard you say that, my first impulse was to run to the cellar and put one in the fridge because you could probably drink that at cellar temperature and it would be fine.
Oh, this was in my basement. That's where it came from. So I did not chill this at all. So yeah, it was perfect.
Your basement's probably cooler than mine.
That's probably true.
Actually, I don't have a basement. It's a closet, so I know that your basement's cool. But great beer. Thanks for that.
My pleasure.
Any more comments, anybody? All right. If not, I guess that means I'm on the clock. So in keeping with Greg's mantra, I had another beer because I was so thirsty, and we kind of had some delays here at the beginning. So I just finished off a Stone Zokovica, which, I had a 6-pack of cans. It's always one of my favorites. It's a Imperial Stout inspired by Mexican hot chocolate. I just finished that. That's not the beer I'm going to taste, but I just wanted to tell everybody that, I had a warm-up beer too. But the beer I am going to taste is another one that I wish I had a second one for Ross. And if I go back to Portland and can find this, I'll get him one. But Great Notion Brewing in Portland, Oregon. The beer I'm about to open and sample for the first time is a beer called Wake and Bake Imperial Stout with coffee and s'mores. So let's just pop this open. And actually, full disclosure, Eric, who has been on the show from Seattle from time to time. He's got a large family, so doesn't get out often. But when I was in Portland on a Tuesday night last week, he made the time to drive down from Longview, Washington to meet me. And we met at the Great Notion Brewery in Portland. And for some unexplained reason that we still don't know why, they were closed when we got there. They're supposed to be open, Monday through Friday. And we showed up. I showed up at the meeting place about 10 minutes before he arrived. I took an Uber there and walked up to the front door, and there was a big close sign on. But not to be deterred, I walked down the block and told Eric where I ended up, and it was a place called the Imperial Tap Room. And they had coconut bee-balm barley wine on taps from Fremont Brewing. So that was a nice consolation prize. But I was able to get some Great Notion brews that Eric had actually generously brought for me, and I had reciprocated with some Tombstone beers for him. So, Eric, I'm sure you'll be listening to this at some point, so thank you for this beer. So let's move on to the Wake and Bake Imperial Stout with coffee and s'mores from Great Notion Brewing. I just poured it. Coal black, pitch black. The nice, about paper-thin head is slowly disappearing, not rapidly, but it's still there, but I can only tell you that the aroma on this found me before I found it. Before I could even raise my glass to my nose, it was already wafting through the room. So tons of coffee on the aroma. Coffee, roasted malt, but mostly coffee. So I'm going to take a tip. Oh, wow. So I was just expecting a coffee bomb, but there's that little bit of that. It's not like vanilla bean vanilla. It's that marshmallow vanilla. It's kind of like silky smooth. Wow, that's really good. So the coffee is the predominant flavor as well, but you get that non-vanilla bean vanilla, if that makes sense. It's more of that marshmallowy vanilla, like a thinner, really hard to describe, but I guess the best way to describe it is s'mores. Now, s'mores, you get that graham cracker. I'm going to take another sip and see if I can detect any of that. I'm not really getting that. It almost reminds me of Vanilla Night Fury, only the vanilla is a different vanilla. So that's a good thing. I'd say full-bodied for sure. Let me see the ABV on this. I didn't pull up a website or anything. Let me see. Hopefully it's on the can. And it is 11%. So this is really full-bodied. It's 11%, but it doesn't really taste. I can't really taste a lot of alcohol in it, but I can just tell by the sheer, that full-bodied mouthfeel that it's a big hitter. It's a delightful beer. I can tell you, I think I have only one more Great Notion left. He brought me 8 cans. I could only fit 6 in my suitcase. Some of them were New England hazy IPAs. Other ones were dark. I got one left. It's like a double fudge coconut one. I can only imagine how good that's going to be. But if you ever get to Portland, Oregon, look these guys up. Or if you have a trade partner from Portland, Oregon, look your trade partner up, because you're going to want beers from Great Notion. I can't say I've ever had a can of Great Notion that didn't blow me away. This was brewed on 11/6/19. Obviously, a beer like this could age for quite a while and still be fine, but you might lose some of the great flavors that I'm getting. I'm going to just take another sip and see if I can get any more complexity out of this to describe. Yeah, really nice thick mouthfeel, which is nice. The coffee flavor, it doesn't blow you away, coffee, but it's the predominant flavor. But, it's just such a nice supporting of that marshmallow s'more flavor. I'm not really getting a graham cracker malt flavor. It's all about the coffee with a little, a moderate smattering of marshmallow to support it. So it really does hit the nail on the head with the s'mores, other than the only thing I would say is no graham cracker influence, which I could do. I could take her or leave it.
So how long before Terrapin comes after him?
Let's hope not. Terrapin, once great brewery, now a Coors product, correct?
I'll just mention it because that's one of their stouts is the Wake and Bake.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, cease and desist you're talking about. Well,
yeah.
It is clearly on this label, Wake and Bake, and then it says in small letters, Imperial Stout with coffee and s'mores. So, all right, well, perhaps this beer will be called something else someday, but for now, I'm happy to be waking and baking. And I'll tell you what, I am more awake now than before I took my first sip of this. Of course, that Stone Zokovica probably helped out too. So, all about the good dark beers with me tonight. No hop pleasure. Maybe next show. So, all right. Well, anybody have any comments? Anybody ever had any Great Notion beers?
I can't say I have, for sure.
Well, I will probably be going back there for work, and I will make it a point. I think what I'll do is probably just buy stuff there and mail it right from Portland to some of you guys, because honestly, I'd love for you guys to have some of this. It's every beer, and I mean every single one. There wasn't a dud among the bunch. Of course, could be credit to Eric. Maybe he only gave me good stuff, but and next time, hopefully they won't be closed. I don't know what happened, but it was a Tuesday and like 8 o'clock at night, and actually 6 o'clock at night we showed up, but we did hit Hair of the Dog Brewery, another great Portland institution. Next time I go, all I can tell you is I'm taking either 2 suitcases or one big one, because there was so much stuff. I saved a lot of money, but there's so much stuff I wanted to bring back, and I only had a one suitcase with a 2 days of clothes, so had to pick and choose what I could bring home. But great beer town, Portland, Oregon, and a great brewery, Great Notion. So highly recommended.
ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth, and as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Speaking of the West Coast, let's move further south to the City of Angels, to Steve V in L.A.
Steve's probably got to be thirsty by now. My goodness.
He might be on number 3 by now. I would.
Come on,
Yeah, he He's been working through everything so far.
I have a 32-ounce growler, and I'm almost done with it. My beer today. So I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. But before I do my review, I just wanted to say I came back from Colorado this past weekend. I was out for the Stadium Series game with the Kings and the Avalanche. So go Kings, go! But
I heard that was a disaster as far as parking.
Oh, it was horrible. Well, it was horrible for people coming in. I luckily got there early enough, so I bypassed all that. But getting out, it literally took me like 2 hours to get out of that place. It was
yeah.
But the
once
game was
again,
great.
Barry Bettman shows his ineptitude as a commissioner.
Yeah, it
just when that in, I had to do that.
Yeah, there was a lot of angry people. So,
why?
But while I was there, I happened to do a great pairing for Valentine's Day at Goat Patch Brewery in Colorado Springs, and they did a 4 beers and 4 cupcakes, and it was delicious. Their beers there were fantastic. If you're ever in the Colorado area, they distribute their stuff's on tap in most of the places in that area. Don't miss out on Goat Patch. It was really, really good.
So were the cupcakes the special Colorado cupcakes?
No, they just kind of paired. Yeah, they were just small little stuff, but they had a pistachio nut brown ale that was really, really special. Their hazy IPA was right on. They had their stout that was really smooth, and then they had this rye whiskey barrel that was 14.2%. That'll knock you on your butt really quick.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we could somehow tie into the previous Wake and Bake.
But yeah, that's somewhere that you have to keep an eye out for Goat Patch. But awesome. Tonight, I'm going to be reviewing a beer from Long Beach. It's from Trademark Brewing Company. So this beer was a gift to me. My friend went down to taste some beer at their brewery, and she hates IPAs. She describes them as the dog piss.
I've heard cat piss, but not dog piss.
Wow, that's a new one.
It's just not her cup of tea. But she said she tried this one and she loved it, and she couldn't talk. Kept talking about it, and so she brought me a 32-ounce, growler from it, and so it's called Origins, and it's their South African IPA. It's a 6.4%. And like I said, I've been drinking it. I'm almost done with it. It's very, very hazy. Has that hazy color. Very the head on it when you pour it is thick, and as I kept pouring, it rejuvenated the head every time, and sat there and lasts for a while. It's got this golden hue color, very creamy. It has the notes of Malin berry, and they say hazy boy. But when you drink it, it's complex. It has its flavors, and you get the tropical flavors of it. You get that earthy tones, the earthy aromas on it. It's a very good IPA. It also has like a blood orange balance in it. You get the Malin flavor, so it kind of has that little sweetness to it. But very, very tropical, very, very fruitful flavor, but still has that IPA taste that makes it really, really good. So I would highly recommend this one.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Did you kill the howler yet?
Almost.
Chug.
Well, to those of you listening, we did have maybe a 20-minute delay setting up tonight, which happens frequently. But, you get kind of like, gets time to record, and you get kind of thirsty all day. You've been thinking, I got the podcast tonight. And you get parched, and then all of a sudden there's a delay, and usually most of us just can't wait. So.
No, I mean, I waited until Greg did his. and then I
More restraint than me.
Wow.
I waited that long.
When I lived in Michigan and Uncle Pete used to record with me, he'd come over like a half hour early, and we'd have at least one warm up before the show. So that was always fun.
Yeah, so, I know that well, going to his house.
So speaking of Uncle Pete, we want to just wish him well. He had I think a minor medical procedure of some sort. So wish him well, and hope that he'll be joining us next time we record. So Shout out Uncle Pete. We miss you. Can't wait to have you back.
And all the beer nuts that have been on a little bit.
Amen. So, all right. Well, everybody has had a beer, but I'm going to now make an offer because we haven't really, we're about like 40, 45 minutes in. So anybody else want to have a shot at reviewing a second beer?
John had one, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I have the.
I think John Golden needs to redeem himself. I think that first Evil Twin was. He said it was a good beer, but it wasn't really up to Milk Stout BJ's standards. So let's give him a shot at another one. What do you say, John?
Yeah, so let's go with the Even More Pecan Pie Jesus. We're kind of going with a theme here, versus the Even More 8-pound, 6-ounce newborn infant Jesus. This must be one of the grown-up Jesuses.
Praise the Lord.
Yep. So pecan or pecan, depending on where you're from. I suppose down there in Carolina, it's pecan.
Definitely is in Texas, from what I remember. Yep.
I'm not from Carolina originally, so.
I can tell you, here in Arizona, like 10 miles from my house, there's a huge pecan grove and a huge store where I can buy all kinds of pecans and pecan pies, anything with pecans in it. So they call it pecan here, but hey.
Okay, because I know I've spent a little bit of time in the Carolinas, mostly South Carolina, and it's pecan versus here in Michigan we say pecan, but for them it's pecan. It's also like the time we went down there and went fishing and stopped in the store and we're going to buy some bait. And asked, we said we want a dozen minnows. And the girl looked at us and she was like, what? And we pointed to the sign that said, minnows, however much per dozen. And we pointed to the sign, can we get a dozen minnows? And she goes, oh, you want some minners? And both my wife and I looked at each other like, what? There's no R on that sign. But yet it was a big part of the pronunciation. So
yeah, that happens. Yep.
This is a pecan pie, and it's even more Jesus. So let me take a sip of this. Wow! Now this is a good beer. It's very nutty, chocolatey. This is I believe this is like a 12% or something. So this is more than double that last one. It's very, very full-bodied. Has a nice kind of dark tan, brown colored head on it. That it's actually this thing's got some veins to it. The flavor is very, very lingering. It sticks with you. It's got some. It almost tastes like some bourbon barrel. I don't know if this is actually barrel aged or not, but it's sort of got that kind of flavor. It says it's made with molasses and pecan extract added. It's an imperial stout. This is much, much more what I expect from Evil Twin. They make some really, really good beers, and this is really up to snuff with their usual stuff. And unfortunately, I have to drink the rest of this before I go to bed. It's awful.
Oh, I feel your pain.
Tough to be us.
Yeah, well, today was a rough day because this week is National Engineers Week. So at work, we started off, they gave us breakfast, chocolate chip pancakes and everything. Like they actually made them in the office. And then we finished the day with a happy hour at the Grand Trunk Pub in downtown Detroit, also formerly known as Ferran's Irish Pub. And had a couple of nice beers there. And now I'm forced to finish off my evening with this beer, which I think actually it's probably the best beer I've had tonight.
There you go. Hey,
redemption for the first one.
Redemption.
Yeah, I think the first one was the Untapped shout out I did earlier, which was a really good beer. But this is just, I mean, the depth of this and the complexity and the character is just very, very good.
Well, we're glad we got you to redeem that first beer and upgrade and give you a nice grand finale from what sounds like a pretty good day for you.
Yeah, and on top of that, I'm actually, the sound is off, but the television in front of me is showing the original Peter Sellers Pink Panther movie.
Oh, nice. That's kind of like when I'm watching football and Chris Collinsworth's on. I usually put Dark Side of the Moon on and just mute Collinsworth.
That's a good
I'm
idea.
watching silent. Sometimes I'd rather hear Roger Waters than Chris Collinsworth. Actually, every time I would rather do that. So
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
here's a guy. All right. Anybody else brave enough for a second one, or are we good?
We are good.
We're good. So
Unless Steve has another 32 ounces he wants to pound real quick.
I think he's paid his
No,
dues.
I'm okay on this one. Thank you.
Well, and I'm usually the one that wants to do too, but I already had that Zokovica. I think we've reviewed that in the show. Another good dark beer that very easily obtained now, mainstream. That it's looking at the can, stout brewed with chocolate, coffee, pasilla, peppers, vanilla, cinnamon, and nutmeg.
That one's so good. Oh.
It's for a beer that's produced by a larger brewer and pretty easy to get. It's a fantastic one. So I know that we reviewed it before on the show, but I'll give it another shout out. It was a good warm up for tonight. But I'll tell you what, this Great Notion Wake and Bake, they may be cease and desisted by the second biggest evil empire of them all. But
Now, I noticed on your picture, John, you posted they use the actual "and" symbol. Now, doesn't Terrapin just use an N with like a apostrophe or something like that?
There you go. Maybe that's the difference.
Maybe that's the difference.
I'm sure the legal people,
Here's something.
Lawyers will make out like bandits on that if there is a challenge. Maybe they'll just let it go. Who knows?
I think it almost might be too generic to, because Wake and Bake has been used, it's like part of common language that they may not even be able to copyright it.
Well,
Never underestimate the pettiness of a large corporation.
or a lawyer.
Corporations, they don't necessarily win. They just they pound you with lawyer fees. They send you cease and desist, and you just have to spend so much money on lawyer fees that you lose and go out of business, and that's all they count on because they know they can't actually win.
The only winners in those battles are the lawyers themselves.
Exactly.
All right, well, we can't end the show on talking about lawyers, so I'm taking one more sip of this Wake and Bake. And man, I'll tell you, Greg, Night Fury Vanilla, oh my gosh. I'm tempted to dive into my cellar and get another one out. I have never had it in cans. I only have a couple bottles in the cellar, so when did they start canning that? Like in the last year?
Like I said, this one was canned December 23rd. I don't remember ever seeing it before that. So,
You know what? The can is the way to go. And I'll tell you, when I was in my trip to Portland, I'll tell you what is dying, and we've talked about it before in the show. The 22-ounce bomber is a dinosaur.
Yep.
Because there are fewer and fewer breweries putting out that size of a package. and rightfully so. I mean, who wants a 22-ounce bottle of barley wine? I mean, unless you're in a room with at least 4 other people.
Yep.
I'd rather have a 12-ounce barley wine. That's still pretty good. 13-14% barley wine. So one thing I noticed in the market up there is there was still a door with a couple shelves of bombers, but not many. And I'm noticing more and more cans and fewer bottles. So,
yep.
And
sounds to me like you're just getting old.
No, I think the can is a better vessel for beer. The biggest enemy to beer is light, and the can.
Yeah, they have improved the can technology with all the coatings that they put on the inside of the cans and everything. But I still think you're getting old if you're saying I don't want a 22-ounce bomber of this nice strong barley wine.
Oh, you haven't seen my cellar, have you?
I've seen
the bombers may be being eliminated, but I still got plenty of them from back in the day. So
I've seen the part of your cellar that's still at Doug's house, and it's getting smaller. just
as
letting you know.
I'll tell you that my cellar is shrinking here too. So it's a good thing. Any of you that have big cellars, start drinking them down.
Yep.
Because when I moved out of Michigan, I've only brought probably a third to a fourth of what I had. The rest I either sold off, gave away. People helped me move. Here, I have some stuff. I mean, I had hoarded way too much beer, and I learned from that. And I'm on an even keel now. I'm definitely buying. I'm drinking more out than I am buying in, but I'm being more selective about what I buy in too. So it's all about fresh hops, and if it's something cellarable, I got to really like to buy it.
Yep.
I guess my only Achilles heel now is mead, because I have 2 mead memberships, and they're expensive. And but my mead collection has dwindled too. So drink down those cellars, everybody.
Yep. I really only have 2 beers in my cellar. I have a Stone Oak Meal Stout from 2016, and I have a Kunin Chocorama Mead.
Well, I will tell you.
Other than that, I drink my beer. I like it too much. I can't let it sit around. It just calls to me.
Well, when I left Michigan, I probably brought 12 to 15 cases with me, and I had at least 40 cases. And that's, I mean, come on, I could probably not buy beer for 2 years and drink that cellar down. So, but it's manageable now, and happy to know that I have a couple of Vanilla Night Furies in that cellar, and a lot of other good stuff. But drink it down. Save some money.
Absolutely.
Right,
I agree.
Should we finish the episode with a cheers and a bottoms up?
We could probably do that, but we always finish with a trip to Mexico City. But does anybody know how to say bottoms up in Spanish? I didn't think so.
Nope.
We'll figure that out for the next episode. But thank you, everybody, for listening. Sorry it's been a few weeks, but we're going to get back on track here, because the winter's almost over. Well, at least it's over where I live. Maybe not up in Michigan, but Ross, good luck with your snowstorm tomorrow. The whole 3 inches might be immobilizing North Carolina.
They're already panicked. So,
but that being said, really enjoyed having you back, and I hope every time we do a dark beer episode that we'll have you in again, and certainly mandatory attendance for the Kunin episode.
Yep.
Which a little preview for your listeners. Also, one more thing before we go away, I wanted to thank Matt Brown from Tombstone Brewing. I was checking our statistics from our Facebook page, which we really don't put much time into the Facebook page for the Beer Nuts podcast, but we had over 1,000 views for the Tombstone episode, and we get like 100 for an average one. So on the Facebook page, which we really don't even. So that was a very successful episode that a lot of people downloaded, and so We get it, our listeners. We know you want more brewery people, and we're going to deliver. Hopefully, within the next month or so, we'll have an episode possibly recorded live on location from Coonan. Since Dugout and John Golden are both members of the Coonan Guild of Brewers and well connected with Brett and Eric Coonan. So look forward to that. And it's time to go to Mexico, everybody. So
Let's do it.
as they say in old Mexico City, AMF.
ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.